Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. It's Trade with Ellie. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are a returning individual, I appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you so much. I hope you have all already subscribed to my channel. Make sure to hit that bell so you can be the first to know when I have some new content up. I'm all things trade, travel, investing related, and today we're diving into some travel. So with travel becoming very different and so many changes, accommodation is still super important, and one of the things we really need to do some great research in when we are figuring out where we're staying when we're traveling. See, we have three real options when it comes to travel. We have hotel, we have hostels, and we have Airbnb, right? Those are three different options that you can have, and they all vary in price and, more importantly, in experience, right? Depending the type of experience that you want to have, depending your budget, it can be the defining factor of where you're going to stay. See, it becomes a cost and difference when it is in location as well, right? So if you're staying closer into the city, into where all the tourists or tourism things are, you might pay a little bit more. Now, when you're further out, you will be spending less money, but are you going to be paying for that in transportation? Are you going to be paying for that in time? I mean, if it's going to cost you $30 to travel into the city every day, are you really saving by staying outside of the main area? Or if it's gonna, maybe transportation isn't that much, maybe it's only going to be about $4, going and coming, but it takes you 2 hours. Are those 2 hours really worth maybe the $100-$200 that you're saving, right? If these are factors for you, then of course, right, I want you to take that into consideration. But understand, you can stay in the city and stay in a hostel and spend little to no money, or you can, be comfortable being an Airbnb. Maybe you're able to save some, or maybe you can stay in that amazing hotel that's located right there because you were able to get money back or save money through the many opportunities that I show you on my channel, on my Instagram as well. Make sure to follow me also at @TradeWithEllie_ on Instagram, right, where I show you how you can save money or get back so much money just by booking accommodations, by booking flights, booking travel related things, using different channels and methods so that you can actually afford or be able to use that money towards your travels, right? So you can't afford to stay at those more expensive places that maybe you're second guessing, or you can use that money towards other things, right? Or your next flight. But that is in a different video. Be on the lookout for that, right? I do have some content already out. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put that in the comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. I've done a number of different videos, live sessions, where I break everything down as well. So I hope some of you got to take advantage of that. If not, definitely be on the lookout for that. I will be having more and sharing more and more tips and tricks to lead toward that direction, okay? But as far as, understanding the difference in accommodation, right? Let's start with hostel. Right? If you've heard of a hostel and all you can think about is the movie Hostel, please remove that out your mind, because I know you probably hear me saying hostel, 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 and you're just having this horror, right? And I've had that horror experience, not to the full extent, but it felt like this is very Hostel movie vibes. But I also had great hostel experience where I was like, I don't want to leave. I love the people here. I had such a great time. I had like a solo moment as well. Like, I've had so many different hostel experience, all ranging from like horrible to amazing. But that is where reading reviews is super, super important, right? People are going to leave reviews for mainly one of two reasons. They had a great experience that they want to share. They had a horrible experience they want to warn people about, right? And so what I like to do when it comes to reviews, I like to go to the 1-star reviews, the 2-star reviews, and I like to see what people said, right? Maybe you had a one-off bad situation. I've had crazy things happen to me, and I would like to believe a lot of these things it's just me, right? Of course, this would happen to me kind of feeling, and it's not like a common thing. And then sometimes you can read information or read people's experiences and you're like, this might be the only person who shared it, but this doesn't sound like it's something that's one-off, right? You can kind of gauge it, or you can take that into consideration however you like, right? I gauge it as, okay, this sounds like maybe this was a one-time situation, and then I read some stuff and I'm like, this sounds like something I wouldn't want to experience, and that it kind of sounds like this is not one-off. It just happens that these individuals, or this specific individual, has left a review. And so by that information, or by assessing it, after also looking at the 4 stars and seeing, you know, what people said. So normally I will look at the 5 and see the good comments that people leave, and just to kind of compare, because I also want to offset, like, okay, did this negative aspect, you know, does this positive thing override it? You know, can it cancel it out? Do they cancel out? Sometimes you're realizing that people said a lot of great things, or they gave it 5 stars but have like still negative points inside that correlate with some of these lower stars. And I'm like, you know what, maybe this isn't the spot, right? If you read enough reviews, you will be able to kind of get an idea of what the place or the experience might be like, right? So I like to use that, especially when it comes to hostels. You know, everyone doesn't leave a review, so you're not really going to be able to get a 100% accurate reading or information, but it does help, right? It makes such a difference, and it has helped me plenty times. So reading reviews is super, super important. However, hostels can be super, what can I say? How can I say this? Friendly in many terms. Financially friendly. You can meet a lot of friendly, great people, because it's a great space to really meet people. A lot of people are very open into mingling, and it's because you're going to be in common areas, right? A hostel, think about this, it's a room where you have all these bunk beds and everyone is just sharing common space. Now sometimes it's not bunk beds, sometimes you might have like twin beds all over the place, but a lot of the times you have bunk beds. So it'll be a room where you're sharing it with like 10 other people. It could be 15, 20, depending the room. I've been to a hostel that had 3-level bunk beds. I didn't even know this existed. 3-level bunk bed. I was blown, but it was so cool. And you can get hostels for as little as $10 a night per bed, $5. I've seen even $3, right? It just depends where you are in the world, but they run really, really low. And a lot of the times they're going to be cheaper than a hotel, even cheaper than an Airbnb, especially if you're going solo. And if you're going solo, it's kind of a nice way for you to be able to meet other solo travelers or other people who are more open to having a shared travel experience with other individuals. And I think that's a really real cool aspect that you get from a hostel that you don't exactly get by staying in an Airbnb or a hotel. Now at hostels, a lot of hostels do actually also have private rooms. So the private room will cost you a little bit more. However, now you're not having to be in that common space, right? Now you can lock your bag in the room and stuff. But remember, a lot of hostels, almost all, at least the ones that I've been to, do have lockers that allow you to lock your belongings inside, which is super nice. Because now you don't have to worry about, you know, being in a shared space and all your important belongings being out. Some places even have lockers that are big enough to fit your suitcase. I mean, your whole suitcase, even a whole backpacker's bag, right? Enormous bag. And I think that's super, super great because it gives you that added security and still for a great low price. So you're not breaking the bank and you're still able to go out and have a really great time. They can organize events for you. They'll have different events. You know, it's a whole experience that if you've never had and you're willing to be up for it, I would say do it at least once. I've done it a number of times, more than I really thought I ever would, but it's actually really cool. Will I do it again? Really depends, but you know, might get that private room if I ever do it. And I think it just depends where you are in the world, or just what experience or what that travel is going to be like. But you can have a private room that will have a bathroom. Sometimes the private room, it might be a little bit cheaper if you're using the shared bathroom. Different hostels have different setups, so that's something you definitely want to look into and check, right? And so that's definitely hostel. Now we move up to Airbnb. So the beauty of Airbnb is feeling like you're at home, like you're traveling but you're coming to home. And I think that's one of the great things about Airbnb. Also the cost, right? It can easily cost less than a hotel. It can easily cost the same amount or more than a hotel, but I think it's more so in the experience. We have different themed hotels, you have different themed Airbnbs. You can get an Airbnb with a nice private pool. It's about having that whole space if you're selecting entire place, right? Not that shared business in Airbnb. See, that's one thing I don't do. I'll do shared space in a hostel. I will not do shared sleeping arrangements in an Airbnb. That freaks me. But if you're up for it, you know, make sure you're doing what you need to do to be safe. But they do have that option as well. Price might be cheaper, or it still might come out the same as having the entire place. Definitely check out those filters. But having that kitchen and fridge that many Airbnbs have, I'm not going to say all because I've actually seen some that kind of don't, but that majority of the Airbnbs have, giving you that opportunity to cook and maybe save money there, or to be able to store leftovers so you're not wasting food or having to buy food every day, if that's something that you're looking to do or have the opportunity to have on your trip. Right, because some people don't care. You might be the individual who's like, I'm just going to eat out every day and I'm going to just buy new food every day, and that's totally fine, right? That's the experience that you want. That's something you can afford. You deserve that. But if it's not in your budget, or if it's not something that you want to do, you should have the opportunity to have that. And not every hotel has a kitchenette area, right? Or that home style living part. And I realize a lot of places don't even have microwaves these days. It's almost like you have to use shared microwaves. And I don't know if it's just because I haven't been to these hotels until more recent. It's like, where's the microwave, guys? But where's the fridge even? but this is something that you can definitely have in an Airbnb that you choose, right? And it can be more cost effective, especially when you're traveling with a group. You can all be together, not split up in different rooms. And also the cost can come down depending on how many people you're splitting this, you know, payment by. And so it can be really, you know, good on your pockets, and also a great homey experience, especially if the Airbnb comes with so many nice amenities. And then you have, last but not least, hotel, right? The great thing about the hotel is if you're not looking to cook, like, it's great, but most hotels have a restaurant attached or maybe nearby, right? For the most part. Maybe it comes with breakfast, maybe it does, maybe you don't select it. Either way, having someone come clean your room or to fix your room every day is kind of nice. Having access to concierge or front desk, whether you have questions, you need to make arrangements, different things that they already know because they live there, and they can assist you with that, and they're providing that assistance for you on demand 24 hours. If they provide 24-hour service, is something that's really, really cool, right? And that's something that I think you don't always get in, you can get that experience a little bit in a hostel, clearly not to the same degree, but you definitely can, right? But remember, the hostel is still a completely different experience, but they do as well still change. You will have assistants. They do plan events for you. Sometimes they might have organized things. It just depends on where you're staying or what type of hostel it is. But the hotel, right, is supposed to be at a higher standard, and it's supposed to give you a more luxurious feeling and stuff like that. So it all just depends on where you're staying, how much you're spending, and what that experience is like. Now, all three will come with completely different experiences, but it depends on the vacation you're going and the location. So once again, if you're staying closer to the big city or in the big city, you're going to spend a little bit more. When you go further out, it'll be a little bit less, but you might be spending that amount in commuting, whether it's financially in commuting or in time in commuting. And at the same time, right, the goal is to have fun. You still want to pick something that's close to restaurants or stores that will be open, because the worst thing is to be hungry at an hour where you just have no access to get food, or it's just too far. And sometimes we want to be able to call room service and say, you know what, I do want to place an order of that amazing blah 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 blah. Or, you know, you want to be able to be close to delivery, so you can say, you know what, my delivery is only going to take about 15 minutes, you know, maybe 30 minutes max, because you're so close to certain areas. Or you want to be close to transit, right, if you are commuting, because who wants to be so far from everything where it's just taking a lot travel, you still want that convenience, right? You want that fun, you want that luxury, but at some extent you also want convenience. So even if you're cutting back on price, think about your convenience and make it make sense for you, make it make sense for your pockets and your experience that you're going to have all together. So I hope that helped you understand, you know, what you should be looking for, what the difference are in the three. Understand the prices can all for all three can actually end up being the same. So when they are the same and it's hard to pick, think about experience, think about location. And some of them might have an added bonus, right? So definitely make sure you read those cues, because think about it, if an Airbnb saying no party, no loud music, and they have strict rules, I'm not staying there, right? If a hostel just seems like it's gonna cost me more or the same as a hotel, I'm not staying there. I'm gonna pick the hotel. You know, there's different things to help you rule out or to narrow down your options. So definitely read all those little information, do your research, map out where you want to go, and pick the one that will suit you the best. So I hope this video helps you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check out my next video. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you in my next video.